Welcome to the Tech Mobility Podcast, brought to you by Playbook Investors Network, your strategic partner for unstoppable growth. Visit pincommunity.org to get started.
I'm Ken Chester. On the docket, my review and impressions of the 2025 Subaru WRX TS, how the feds are supporting nuclear equipment manufacturing, and trucking's great capacity purge. To add your voice to the conversation, be it to ask a question, share an opinion, or even suggest an idea for a future segment, call or text the Tech Mobility Hotline. That number, 872-222-9793, or you can email the show directly, talk@techmobility.show. For those of you who enjoy Substack, you can find me there too, at Ken, the letter C, IOWA. From the Tech Mobility News Desk, I have talked and I have told you that as the domestic manufacturers come online and bring EVs to market and then scale up production, meaning instead of building a few hundred, we're talking about a few 100,000 EVs, that the price of EVs would come down. I also told you that over time, when Detroit got involved, that the average mileage between charges for EVs would go up. Both have happened. The article I've got from the EV Report this week says that the 2025 Chevy Equinox EV and the 2026 Silverado EV win Cars.com's top pick awards for value and performance, showcasing affordability, long range, and innovation in a growing EV market. Let me stop. Right now, the Silverado and just about everything GM builds on that at their factory zero, which would be the Silverado EV, the GMC Sierra EV, the Cadillac Escalade IQ, and the Hummer by GMC are all built on GM's large EV truck platform. That platform right now, will deliver range between 460 and 493 miles between charges. Let that sink in. 460 and 493 miles between charges. Yeah, they're bigger. Yeah, they're heavier. And yeah, guess what? They got more range. Is that any different than a diesel Chevy Silverado heavy duty with twin tanks that has extended range? Yeah, the batteries are big. We're talking about a 203 kilowatt hour battery pack. That is huge. And what I mean by that, your average battery pack in a car would be between 50 and 80 kilowatt hours. A large pack would be over 100. This is double that. But oh my God, 493 miles. Let that sink in. For those of y'all that say, well, they ain't got no range. Got more range than what you're driving, probably. And will tow. And for you games naysayers out there say, yeah, but when it gets cold, hold it. Your internal combustion engine, whether it's diesel or gasoline, loses efficiency when it gets cold. So let's apples to apples here for a minute. But I digress. These awards highlight Chevy's commitment to delivering affordable, innovative, and capable electric vehicles in a competitive market. I told you when the Equinox EV came out, it would cost less. You can buy one. You could go to your Chevy dealer and pay less than $40,000. I believe the starting price for that, I know it's under $35,000. By comparison, my 2018 Chevy Equinox in the mid-range LT trim with just a few options in 2018 was $29,995, including freight. This is barely $6,000 more 7 years later. And it's a completely different powertrain. Yeah, I want that to settle. Now, yeah, the reason why I bring it up is that part of what I get, the pushback that I get from some of my dear listeners, that EVs are expensive and nobody wants EVs and they're going to die when the EV credit expires and nobody's going to want them and they're cramming them down our throat. Not true. Not true. I shared with you a little while back a survey of actual EV owners and people who wanted to buy EVs. Why? 5 reasons why EVs will hang around. Now, yes, there was a bump, a boomlet before the expiration of the EV credit. That's to be expected. That's like anything. And yes, the market has fallen somewhat. And yes, the automakers have pivoted, which is the way that automakers have been doing business for over 100 years. That's not new. What's new is that EVs aren't going away. That automakers did not discontinue everything. They're still building the Equinox EV. They're still building the Silverado EV. They're still building the Sierra EV. They're still building Hummer by GMC. Hyundai built a brand new plant in Georgia that builds EVs. The Ioniq 5, the Ioniq 9, which is an amazing vehicle, the Kia EV9 are all electric for sale in the United States right now, and the automaker has no plans to back up. This is happening, people. This is not a surprise. The Chevy is north of 300 miles range. That Equinox will be golden when it gets to 350 to 400 mile range. Then, to me, it's ready to buy. And it's not impossible. GM, when they first introduced the Silverado EV, was hoping for 400 miles of range. They nailed it out the box at 450 when it first came in the market. And since then, since it came out, they have increased the range. Since it came out. And that's one of the beautiful things about an EV powertrain. You can improve upon it, get the algorithms, the logarithms right, improve the use of the materials, get better, just like the internal combustion engine did for over 100 years. The internal combustion engine in your car today is a superior power plant compared to what they were putting around back in 1925. It puts out 3 to 4 times more horsepower, definitely that much more torque, and gets better fuel economy doing it. Why won't EVs continue to get better? The automakers have already shown that they're moving away from rare earths. They have to. They're getting creative about recycling what's here. They have to. Mark my words. And I told you this about a year ago. Toyota is already, for example, on record of coming up with an EV battery with a 600-mile range about now. Between now and the end of the decade, they will produce an EV battery with a range of 1,000 miles. 1,000. And knowing Toyota, they'll work to get that down affordable. And when they do, it's a game changer. And I told you that really for this thing to take off, the range needs to be about 500 miles anyway. And there's an increasing number of vehicles that are at 500 miles. And hardly anybody's below 300 anymore. And stuff's charging fast. So again, cars.com said, hey, these are happening. These are showing value even though there is no longer an EV tax credit. Could it be that these vehicles have value that does not require a government assistance on the hood? Could be. Could be. No, gasoline's not going away. Diesel's not going away anytime soon, but neither are the EVs. This Subaru has World Rally Car DNA, and it shows. My impressions are next. You are listening to the Tech Mobility Show.
In business, opportunity doesn't wait, and neither should you. At Playbook Investors Network, we connect visionary entrepreneurs with the strategies, resources, and capital they need to win. Whether you're launching, scaling, or reimagining your business, our network turns ambition into measurable success. Your vision deserves more than a plan. It deserves a playbook that works. Playbook Investors Network, where bold ideas meet bold results. Visit pincommunity.org today.
Are you tired of juggling multiple apps and platforms for meetings, webinars, and staying connected? Look no further than AONmeetings.com, the all-in-one browser-based platform that does it all. With AON Meetings, you can effortlessly communicate with clients, host virtual meetings and webinars, and stay in touch with family and friends, all in one place and for one price. Here's the best part. You can enjoy a 30-day free trial. It's time to simplify your life and boost your productivity. AONmeetings.com, where innovation meets connection. Get started today and revolutionize the way you communicate.
To learn more about the Tech Mobility Show, start by visiting our website. I'm Ken Chester, host of the Tech Mobility Show. The website is a treasure trove of information about me and the show, as well as where to find it on the radio across the country. Keep up with the happenings at the Tech Mobility Show by visiting techmobility.show. You can also drop us a line at talk@techmobility.show.
Every great business starts with a spark, but taking it to the next level takes strategy, connections, and capital. That's where Playbook Investors Network comes in. We're your strategic partner for accelerating growth, navigating challenges, and capturing market opportunities before your competition does. Your business is more than an idea. Let's make it an impact. Playbook Investors Network. Your future starts here. Learn more at pincommunity.org.
Consider this. Since every car has four wheels, doesn't it make sense you'd want to get the most out of all of them? That's why you should check out a Subaru Impreza sedan or wagon with all-wheel drive, the ultimate safety feature, which transfers power from the wheels that slip to the wheels that grip. So four wheels do the work instead of just two, proving the old adage that there's safety in numbers. And now you can get a Subaru for this impressive number. See your dealer today.
In case you were wondering what that impressive number was in the TV commercial for the 1995 Subaru Impreza, I'll tell you, it was $14,100 brand new. If only, right? If only. When can a solid economy car become something more? If it's the Subaru Impreza, it can either become a mild performance car like the WRX or a world rally competition car derivative like the former WRX STi. Talk about making do with less. The Impreza has been around since 1992. In 2015, Subaru broke apart the Impreza and the WRX and made the WRX its own model. And it's an all-wheel drive sport compact car with the letters WRX standing for World Rally Experimental. Bet you didn't know that. I won't charge you for it. You're welcome. The WRX is differentiated from the standard Impreza with higher output engines, firmer suspension hardware, larger brakes, slightly resculpted body panels, a lowered ride height, and larger air intakes. The body design has also taken a departure from the standard Impreza with more subtle changes. And also, starting in 2015, the WRX now rides on a modified Impreza chassis. So it's not directly related, but it's derived from. So you know. For the 2025 model year, Subaru adds the WRX TS trim level to the lineup, bringing the offerings to 4. And this is what I'm going to be doing the review on. The TX adds STi-tuned electronics adjustable ride control, Brembo performance braking, a 12.3-inch digital instrument cluster, drive mode select with customizable individual setting, SI drive engine performance management settings, and steering input force response settings, and that's just to name a few. It is a very long list of enhancements. Power for the WRX is produced by a Subaru Boxer high-output four-cylinder engine that makes 271 horsepower and 258 foot-pounds of torque. For those of y'all that are not familiar with Subaru, it is what you call horizontally opposed. Instead of up and down, it's sideways. Because of the sideways nature of the cylinders, the engine is able to sit lower in the car, and it's flat. It gives the Subaru much better handling and, more importantly, lowers the center of gravity, which makes the thing just incredible behind the wheel and very, very nimble. Energy is communicated to all four wheels through a standard 6-speed manual gearbox and the automaker's continuous all-wheel drive system with a viscous coupling locking center differential. A Subaru Performance automatic transmission is an available option. EPA numbers for the manual are 19 city, 26 highway. Cargo capacity is 12.7 cubic feet. So here's what I liked about the WRX. And let me start with the 5 adjustable drive modes. When matched with the engine, it delivers a strong performance when underway. The car is nimble to the point of being driver inspiring. The low center of gravity only adds to the car's outstanding handling and control characteristics. Inside the passenger cabin, the driver enjoys a good outward view of the road, with both front seats able to fully recline. For those of y'all that need to know that, they both recline. Even though the driver's side's powered, the passenger side's manual, they both recline. Rear seat passengers are treated to impressively roomy accommodations with a center armrest and dual cup holders. 2 different USB ports at 2.4 and 3 amp US ports can meet the needs of any device that the rear seat passengers may be using. And you're seeing less and less of this. Mostly you're seeing the smaller 3 amp USB port. You're not seeing so much the older 2.4 amp one like you've got if you've got an Android phone or you got an older vehicle like me. But definitely the newer ones you got. Retained accessory power rounds out the occupant accommodations. So what did I like about the WRX? I got a list. I thought the EyeSight driver assist system was excessive and overbearing. And I know, it's Subaru's, claim to fame, how safe it is, but I think it was overpowering. The lane centering system was aggravating and overly fussy. The traffic sign indicator was often wrong. And while, yes, that is the case for Subaru, Subaru's not alone. There are a lot of manufacturers that try to use it. Most of them are inaccurate. And that scares me because if they're going to use that as any kind of control over speed control, you're going to be all over the place. The tire pressure system was wonky. And I ain't seen a wonky one like this in years, kind of like the first generation systems when they came out about 20 years ago. Thing freaked out. And the low aspect tires didn't help. Those usually really sent the tire pressure systems off on a tangent. And by and large, most automakers got that handled. However, in this Subaru, it was a problem. And on top of that, tire pressure sensors, low aspect tires, and a cold day, and you got a problem. The manual gearbox it was a short throw, but it wasn't shift clean, precise, or nimble like comparable German makes. And I'm talking about the VW GTI or the VW Golf R. What a ride. Not even close. Cool front seats would be nice. I got warm, got heated front seats. Would have been nice to have cool ones. And if I want to drive this car as a performance car, a head-up display is almost mandatory, and it didn't have one. I would have really liked a head-up display. Nooks and crannies are at a premium in this car. Don't carry a lot of stuff because you ain't got too much room to put it. The split fold-down rear seats do not fold flat with the cargo floor. And again, Subaru, if Volkswagen can do it, And I mean flat. You can do it. So here's the bottom line. While the current WRX makes me misty-eyed for the WRX STi sedan of prior years, the silver lining for the current WRX is the ability to adjust performance to a driver's preference in the custom individual mode. That is worth checking out. Manufacturer's suggested retail price for the 2025 Subaru WRX starts from $36,920 for the premium manual and up to $45,705 for the WRX GT. That also happens to be the same price for the WRX TS. They're both $45,705. Destination charges add $1,170. I like driving this car, but I did not like the eyesight system. Not at all. Almost to the point where it would discourage me from considering it. You be the judge. The federal government has pivoted towards supporting nuclear energy with billions in support. This is the Tech Mobility Show.
You've got the drive. You've got the vision. Now you need the right partner to make it happen. At Playbook Investors Network, we power ambitious leaders with the tools, insight, and investment connections to move faster, grow stronger, and lead markets. We're more than advisors. We're your co-pilots in success. Because in business, standing still is not an option. Playbook Investors Network, fueling ambition, delivering results. Visit pincommunity.org.
Did you know that Tech Mobility has a YouTube channel? Hi, I'm Ken Chester, host of the Tech Mobility Show. Each week, I upload a few short videos of some of the hot topics that I cover during my weekly radio program. I've designed these videos to be informative and entertaining. It's another way to keep up on current mobility and technology news and information. Be sure to watch, like, and subscribe to my channel. That's the Tech Mobility Show on YouTube. Check it out. In the quest to meet increasing demands for reliable electrical power in the years to come, the federal government has decided to support domestic nuclear power as opposed to renewable energy. Proponents say that nuclear is more consistent and available to even out the demands of the electrical grid. This is topic B. I'm going to ask a question. Up to you to how you feel you should land on it. Here's my question. Some of you have shared with me your concern and being generally against what you thought the government was doing, selecting winners and losers by investing in renewable energy. I'm talking predominantly wind farms, solar farms, things like that. The government has pivoted, we all know, and now they're actually spending that kind of money and more towards nuclear energy, towards fossil fuels, namely coal. It's where they want to be. So before I even get into this article, before we even talk about what's going on in nuclear energy, I ask you this question for your consideration. Are you for the government picking winners and losers in the energy field? And that's regardless of whether it's fossil fuels, coal, wind, solar, thermal, something else? Or is it okay for certain industries? Oil has been getting subsidies written into the tax code for decades. They just didn't identify it as such. What the current administration has done is they have actually reworked some tax credits that were originally for renewable energy and aimed them at nuclear power. Here's what's going on. The feds are hooking up with Westinghouse Electric. They are the predominant producer, believe it or not, we still have one, of nuclear power systems in the United States, if not the world. And yeah, Westinghouse just had a rough patch. They just came out of bankruptcy about 7 years ago. It was a project in South Carolina that went late and over budget. It was a $9 billion project. It ended, it went sideways. And Westinghouse ended up declaring bankruptcy because of it. But they're out now. They're still regarded in the industry as a predominant leader in the nuclear energy space. They're collaborating with the federal government. The federal government's going to put up $80 billion. That's 80 with a B billion dollars. They want to leverage Westinghouse AP1000 reactors and use that technology towards developing small modular reactors, as well as the large-scale projects. Why SMRs are a thing, and we've talked about SMRs before. We've talked about them here. And I talked about at the time there were none even in a test situation in the United States. That is about to change. The problem is you're still 5 to 10 years away from getting 1 kilowatt of power out of an SMR in the United States of America. It does take that time. Westinghouse says that their 2-unit Westinghouse AP1000 product line can deliver reactors capable of gigawatt-scale power and create 45,000 manufacturing and engineering jobs in 43 states. So as always, it's about the money. As the administration has pivoted towards promoting new growth in nuclear power, the reason is because, obviously, AI and data centers. You thought I was going to say EV vehicles. Yeah, not so much. AI is actually going to be the driver. Some industry forecasters are predicting 125 gigawatts and more in new load requirements from the digital infrastructure. Bear that in mind. So, Ken, you're asking me, how much as a percentage is nuclear producing in the United States now for electricity? Right now, nuclear reactors account for 18% of U.S. utility scale electricity. By comparison, because I wanted to look it up, wind and solar account for 17%. That's as of 2024. Together with other renewables, it comes out to be about 25.5%. And renewable energy together, all of that together, produces 313 gigawatts of electricity. That's just renewables. The administration wants to triple output, nuclear output, electrical production by 2050. That means bringing online 400 gigawatts of nuclear produced electricity by 2050. 400. And that'd be tripling, by the way. There's barely over 100 now. Right now, right this minute, renewables are producing 313 gigawatts today. Good for 17%, right behind nuclear today. Combined, they're 35% today. Nuclear and renewables today, clean energy today, is more than a third of all the energy produced in the United States. The big push, and I'm not surprised, is the small modular reactor. Why? It doesn't cost as much money. It's not nearly as dangerous, and they can use existing technology to build them. Westinghouse is committed to starting to build one by 2030. And you're probably asking, gee, that's 5 years away. Why would it take them so long? Because we got to build the infrastructure. We do not have an infrastructure for the material that we need, the nuclear fuel that we need to run the plant, the uranium. That's a whole thing. And the federal government is spending another $2.7 billion to build that domestic infrastructure. Because whether you want to hear this or not, the type of nuclear enriched fuel that's available comes from one place. No, it's not China. It's worse. It's Russia. Congress has passed laws prohibiting us importing that stuff. So the lithium mines, the uranium mines, all that stuff's going to be built and online, the enrichment facilities, all of that takes time. We don't have hardly any of it. Because it's been years since we've added a new nuclear plant. The last one just came online down in Georgia, unit number 4. That was 2021. And it took years to get it there and over budget. We have to build all those lost trades. That's going to take time. But there is a commitment from the administration to do that. They're putting real money behind it to do that. Hundreds of millions and billions of dollars matched by, geez, surprise, your big tech companies, because they need the power. So they're putting up. And they've agreed to put up money to build small nuclear reactors around the country. They're not necessarily waiting for the government. They've got their own projects. And yeah, Amazon, Microsoft, Google, all of them. So we could be a country with SMRs in the next 10 to 15 years. The question is, will they be safe? The question is, what are you going to do with that spent material? That's still an issue. And it's still a problem. And we reported on that a couple years ago. Less of a problem, but still a problem. After years of growth, the commercial trucking industry is on the verge of a reckoning, a dramatic reduction in shipping capacity. We are the Tech Mobility Show.
Are you tired of juggling multiple apps and platforms for meetings, webinars, and staying connected? Look no further than AONmeetings.com, the all-in-one browser-based platform that does it all. With AON Meetings, you can effortlessly communicate with clients, host virtual meetings and webinars, and stay in touch with family and friends, all in one place and for one price. Here's the best part. You can enjoy a 30-day free trial. It's time to simplify your life and boost your productivity. AONmeetings.com, where innovation meets connection. Get started today and revolutionize the way you communicate.
To learn more about the Tech Mobility Show, start by visiting our website. Hi, I'm Ken Chester, host of the Tech Mobility Show. The website is a treasure trove of information about me and the show, as well as where to find it on the radio across the country. Keep up with the happenings at the Tech Mobility Show by visiting techmobility.show. That's techmobility.show. You can also drop us a line at talk@techmobility.show.
In business, opportunity doesn't wait, and neither should you. At Playbook Investors Network, we connect visionary entrepreneurs with the strategies, resources, and capital they need to win. Whether you're launching, scaling, or reimagining your business, our network turns ambition into measurable success. Your vision deserves more than a plan. It deserves a playbook that works. Playbook Investors Network, where bold ideas meet bold results. Visit pincommunity.org today.
Did you know that Tech Mobility has a YouTube channel? Hi, I'm Ken Chester, host of the Tech Mobility Show. Each week, I upload a few short videos of some of the hot topics that I cover during my weekly radio program. I've designed these videos to be informative and entertaining. It's another way to keep up on current mobility and technology news and information. Be sure to watch, like, and subscribe to my channel. That's the Tech Mobility Show on YouTube. Check it out. A trucking industry economist predicts that 600,000 active drivers could be eliminated from the trucking industry. And no, it's not AI, and it's not autonomous trucks that is driving this dire projection. It is actually a perfect storm of things coming together which actually have nothing to do with technology. This is Topic C. First of all, let me set the stage for you why this even matters. 70% of everything that people get is delivered by truck. If you have fewer drivers, it means that there's going to be less trucks to deliver goods. They're dealing with a weak cargo market, and I think what you're seeing is finally the backside of the pandemic. You're also seeing the impact of tariffs. Regardless how you feel about them, and I'm not here to argue pro or con. That's not what this piece is about. But I'm telling you what's going on in the trucking business. They're losing cargo. There's just not enough cargo. You got too many trucks chasing so few cargo. When that happens, because supply is so great, demand is so little, prices drop. As a result, a lot of trucking companies, particularly small and medium ones, will go out of business. And a lot of what they call 3PLs which are the logistic companies that arrange for the loads and kind of act as the intermediaries between the shippers and the truckers, they're going too. Here's what FreightWaves and trucking industry publication has to say about it. The freight industry is experiencing what experts describe as one of the most interesting times ever in freight, though unfortunately not in a positive way for most participants. Motor carriers and freight brokers across the spectrum are feeling significant pain from weak freight volumes and a rapidly changing operating climate. What we're witnessing appears to be the calm before a significant storm, with indicators pointing toward what could become the largest capacity washout in trucking history. This is FreightWaves. This is a trucking industry publication, and they said the largest capacity washout in trucking industry. And they said, for the short term, they're talking about what they call COVID-like spot rates, means the cost of moving a truck with freight is going to skyrocket. The difference? Here's one of the things you didn't see coming. There will be no immigrants getting those trucks. The trucking industry considered that a capacity relief valve. That's gone. Meaning you're going to have to pay more for the drivers you got. Bonuses and higher pay. And because you don't have those drivers, capacity will also be much harder to find. That will also drive prices up. Freight volumes are already falling, with year-over-year figures showing a staggering 18% decline. That's almost 20%. That's almost 1 out of 5. This drop has created severe challenges for motor carriers struggling to find loads and for freight brokers operating with minimal volume to sustain their businesses. Please bear in mind, this is happening on top of a major failure last year of Yellow Trucking. They were number 3 in the trucking business. And with them out the way, that capacity is gone forever. And it's still not enough. Removing that much capacity out of the system did not stop the slide. Even the contract market presents significant challenges, as many brokers have locked in business at unsustainably low rates while competing against asset-based carriers, companies that own their own trucks, that you're not leasing trucks. This created a system where many participants are underwater, and it's not sustainable. Trucking right now looks like the oil industry right now. What happens? Oil has boom and bust cycles. When prices go up, everybody goes to drilling, brings capacity into the market. Capacity floods the market, prices go down. The folks operating the margins, they go out of business. The folks with money buy the capacity, consolidate, prices stabilize. In the trucking industry, another interesting thing has come to bite them on top of falling freight volumes. Stricter enforcement of the English language proficiency regulations have resulted over 23,000 violations, with more than 5,000 resulting in out-of-service orders. They pull the truck over, park it, you can't drive. The Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration estimates that 97% of the current 200,000 non-domiciled CDL holders, folks not from here, will be unable to satisfy the new requirements, leading to their likely exit from the industry over the next 1 to 3 years. This represents approximately 5% of all registered CDLs in the United States. When accounting for the overlap between drivers affected by non-domiciled CDL restrictions and English language proficiency enforcement, plus undocumented drivers and restrictions on new hires, the total at-risk population could exceed 600,000 drivers, representing about 17% of active drivers. What's worse? Carriers that rely upon immigrant labor or carriers that don't qualify under the new rules will likely go out of business. Why does it matter to you? Tell you why. if most everything's delivered by truck. And if it costs more to ship it, who do you think is going to pay that? Who do you think is going to pay that? Or the loads that they can't deliver to your store, meaning you're out of stock of something you wanted because they can't get it from the port. Certain companies are having that problem right now. And I don't want to call no names, but here in the Midwest, in the upper Midwest, a major grocery chain has that problem, although they pay their truckers $30 an hour and guarantee them a 5-day week. And occasionally, they can't get drivers to move loads from their warehouses to their stores. And that's been going on for a couple of years now. Walmart pays, and they listed this about 5-6 years ago, they were paying then for somebody with a CDL and a clean record $97,000 a year to drive for Walmart. It's where we're at. This shakeout is going to hit you in a pocketbook because the folks left will have higher rates, things will stabilize, but that's the point. Fewer folks, less supply. So if the demand goes up, prices go up. And if prices go up, folks got to reflect the cost of getting it to the store. If they get it to the store, your cost for that item is going up. On top of everything else, on top of inflation, on top of everything else, trucking is going to add something to the cost of the goods you enjoy. From groceries to hard goods to everything. This is coming.
This is the Tech Mobility Podcast.
Every great business starts with a spark, but taking it to the next level takes strategy, connections, and capital. That's where Playbook Investors Network comes in. We're your strategic partner for accelerating growth, navigating challenges, and capturing market opportunities before your competition does. Your business is more than an idea. Let's make it an impact. Playbook Investors Network. Your future starts here. Learn more at pincommunity.org.
To learn more about the Tech Mobility Show, start by visiting our website. I'm Ken Chester, host of the Tech Mobility Show. The website is a treasure trove of information about me and the show, as well as where to find it on the radio across the country. Keep up with the happenings at the Tech Mobility Show by visiting techmobility.show. You can also drop us a line at talk@techmobility.show.
Are you tired of juggling multiple apps and platforms for meetings, webinars, and staying connected? Look no further than AONmeetings.com, the all-in-one browser-based platform that does it all. With AON Meetings, you can effortlessly communicate with clients, host virtual meetings and webinars, and stay in touch with family and friends, all in one place and for one price. Here's the best part. You can enjoy a 30-day free trial. It's time to simplify your life and boost your productivity. AONmeetings.com, where innovation meets connection. Get started today and revolutionize the way you communicate.
You've got the drive. You've got the vision. Now you need the right partner to make it happen. At Playbook Investors Network, we power ambitious leaders with the tools, insight, and investment connections to move faster, grow stronger, and lead markets. We're more than advisors. We're your co-pilots in success. Because in business, standing still is not an option. Playbook Investors Network, fueling ambition, delivering results. Visit pincommunity.org.